Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are starting a new series. It's called Know Your Author. So in this we will be interviewing some authors. So you have already read their book or you are going to read, but if you have some questions, I'm going to ask them and let's see what our authors have to say. So my first one today is from the author of Breathe, the book that I'm loving. I recently started reading and I was like, okay. And I got the chance and opportunity to talk to her in person, to interview her. And I was so nervous in all the interview. I was like, oh, she's in front of me. And, I have that fangirl moment all the time in my interview. And you will see it in the next, video that I will connect with it. And you will see the nervous interviewer instead of the interviewee. And I hope you will enjoy this interview. And there's so much knowledge with our author Tumkeen and her knowledgeable talks, and she has so much wisdom to share. It's visible in her books, it's visible on her blog. She's on Instagram with the name The Poetry of Tumkeen. You can find her, and I will put it below in the link, her links to the book on Instagram and on Amazon and Kindle as well. So do check out her book. It's an amazing book. It has so much wisdom. It has so much to reflect upon. And I wish her so much success with her book. And I hope she keeps writing amazing books.
Much for accepting my offer and welcome to my channel and my blog. And here we are here today. Actually, everyone reads the book, but people are really curious to know about the authors, who write it. And when we are writing the book, I don't know, because it's really your perspective into the book. You're not really thinking about the people who are reading it. And when we read it, we can connect to the authors at a level you cannot imagine, because you're pouring your heart on the papers, and when we read it, we are really connecting you with a very deeper level, because with some authors, I'm like, oh, I really feel so close to them. So I was like, okay, I want to talk to my authors. I want to know my authors. And let's start with this show first one. So you are the first one. Thank you so much. And recently you have written a book. I have not yet finished. I am on the page, I think 50th, but I'm not really rushing with the book. I am really digesting it slowly, because every line is like, forcing me to reflect, to think. And it's so relatable, because we have all been in this pandemic. We are still in the pandemic. So yeah, thank you so much for writing this book, actually. So yeah, we will start with a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Tumkeen. I live in the United States with my family. I have 6 children, and mashallah, yes. And I've been married for over 2 decades. So
wow,
yeah, mashallah. So yes, just I guess the biggest thing is that I'm in that phase of life where I've got older children and I've got younger children. So motherhood is a big part of my life and a big part of my writing journey, and just how I show up, I guess, in the world on an everyday basis, because that's just the main pivotal part of my life. And then everything else is just, as we become mothers, we all kind of
I
have that,
have
right?
one child. He's not yet 2 years, so I'm still in the beginner's level.
Yes. But once you do become a mother, that's like a role that becomes almost like central to your life in some shape or form, because it changes you, right, as a woman. So
I mean, once you're a mother, it's always there in the back of your mind. You can
yes,
never, even 1 second, it's always in the subconscious that you're a mother and you're always thinking about your child.
exactly. That's true.
And we want to know, how was the child, Tamkeen? How was the girl, Tamkeen? Is she
Uh,
shy or she was an extrovert?
I think
How
I
was
was
your
more.
childhood?
I was more an extrovert. I think I liked being, because in my family, I'm one of the younger ones. So I think I came off as someone who was always a little bit more sure of what I liked and what I didn't like. And anyone who knew me knew what I wanted to become or wanted to be or do. So I think I've always been one to kind of just be a little bit more articulate in the way that I presented myself. It's just something I've been like since I was a child. Very creative. I've always been into, like, I wanted to be like a painter or like an artist when I was growing up. So definitely the creativity side of me always existed. Um, but I've also been a very sensitive and more in tune with my emotions when I was growing up. So not somebody who can, if I felt a certain way, I could say it, I could show it, and I would be it. It wasn't going to be like, oh no, I'm fine, and just kind of walk away from it. No,
You
you
were
would know.
assertive.
You
You
would
were.
know.
That's great. I was very introvert child.
Well, I think it depends on like family dynamics. I think definitely takes part in that, and your overall. I just think, first of all, we're all made in different ways. Allah subhanahu wa
Yeah.
ta'ala, he makes
I
us
was
all in different
very
ways.
nervous, very shy, and my mother was really strong woman. She was really bam bam. I was like, how can you be my child so timid?
Yeah, but I think that as a mother, I can say that because I'm like this, I can't say for certain that my children are like that, because I know that my daughter, if I were going to go with, my oldest is my daughter, and she's not like me. I think that I'm someone who's very emotional, and I kind of just say it, and she's more poised, she's calmer, and I think that sometimes that just happens because of who you are. Your child might be a certain way as well.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, so that was great to know. And now we want to know what is your favorite book.
My
I'm sure there
favorite,
must be many, but yeah, if you want to pick
yes.
up even few.
Yes. So recently, right after I wrote this book and before I published it, I was in a place of a lot of fear as coming out into the world as a writer and being public about it. Because I just, like I said, I've been a mother for so many years. I've just been used to the whole, get up in the morning, make breakfast for the husband, take care of the children type of life for so long. So I was in a place where I wasn't sure yet if I wanted to release this book or if how I would do it even. So I read a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And that book really resonated with me as someone who's creative, and about how it's the message that you want to put out into the world, or how you want to show up as your creative self, how to just have a little bit more courage to do so. So those words, like if I showed you right now on this wall, every single time I'd come across a quote from her that I really liked, I would write it on a sticky note and put it on my mirror.
Wow.
And they were just great reminders for me just to realize that this creativity that's inside of you is like this actual energy that wants to be released, that wants to be out. And it's not about who reads it, who doesn't read it, the success of it. It's just that it's something, a part of you that needs to be released, that you feel like needs to come out. So
Yeah,
that one
wonderful
was
to
has
know.
been very, yeah. So that has been
I
a really
always
big
have
book.
that, something like stifling inside,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just
This
trying to
energy,
come
it's
out.
almost like an
Unless
energy.
I speak or I write, it
Yes.
has to come out anyway. Yeah.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So I felt that one. Another one that I recently read that really helped me was, and it's not released yet, but I had the privilege to read it and review it, was a book that's going to be released this week. It's called Show Up by Naima B. Robert. And she is actually the one who wrote the foreword for my book as well. She's a friend and she's been my writing coach. And alhamdulillah, like that book you can read and sit with it, and it has like layers to it. So it
It's
really
in my reading
resonated with
list
me.
actually. I have to
Yeah,
read
it's
that.
an amazing book. It's a highly recommended book from me. And I was in her Show Up program, so I can say that we actually, practice the principles she teaches in that book on a day-to-day basis with her. So it's an excellent book. So those are my more recent ones, and then there's classics like Jane Eyre that I used to love. I always liked Shakespeare a lot, mashallah. So, and then I have a stack of books that I want to read, but one day, inshallah, I'm
Yeah,
going to
I know
read.
that feeling.
So,
I also have like a ever growing my to be read list because I follow so many bookstagrammers and their reviews, and then I'm always putting them to my list. But inshallah,
yes,
I'm reading them slowly, slowly. But I
inshallah,
really
yes.
want to enjoy reading and remember what I read, and sometimes I also take and practice.
Mm, yes,
Like
I know what
one
you
of
mean.
your, I think, I don't know which day of the log of your book, it was
Hmm.
like, I'm writing to heal.
Mm,
and it's healing me also. So I feel the same. I connected with it so much that I feel the same way, that it's healing me, and I am
hmm.
writing to heal.
Yes, yes. I often write. I say that I'm healing to write, writing to heal, and healing to write.
Yeah,
Because I think they're both for
I
me
feel
is two in
the
one.
same for
Yeah.
me. I really connected with this line so much. And sometimes when you write, I think, and when a reader is reading, he wants to hear that thing, that magic happens, that I wanted to read this today. And then when you
Yes.
read and you find, so it's
Yes.
really magical, I would say.
Yes. Yes. It is. It is quite fascinating because I remember in writing and being under Sister Naima, because she, like I said, she's my writing coach. I remember telling her that I don't know how someone is going to interact with what I'm writing or what they're going to perceive it to be, like what they will be as the reader perceive that writing piece. And she said something very strong and profound. She said, the words are yours, you write them, but the effect of those words on someone's heart, that belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that belongs to him. So if he wants those words to affect your heart, to soften your heart, to reach you, or you feel like I needed to hear this, you know how many times on social media we say, oh, I needed to read this today, or I need to hear this today, that is all from him. So
Yeah,
my words, if I wrote the sentence, I am a woman who wants to be strong, to someone else that'll be like, okay, it's just another sentence. But to the woman whose heart, Allah wants to give that effect to, he will make those words sound like it's poetry. They'll be like, oh, wow, she just said what I just wanted to hear. So I think that words and the effect of words are two different things. We can all write the same things, but for some sentences or some words to resonate and be impactful and deep in our heart, like it was almost like the words just like they glow off the page. That, oh, I say that glory belongs to him, because only he can have the effect on the hearts.
that's true. That's what I was calling magic, that when you want to hear it and
Mm,
you're reading at that time, that thing is in your hand.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Thank
I can
you
totally resonate
for
with that.
saying it so beautifully.
Just like
Okay.
that.
And we want to know, what's your favorite food and drink?
Wow. I'm a big foodie, so I
Same
think it'd be
here.
hard for me.
I have a food blog too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, mashallah. I would say sweets has always been my weakness. So like baked cookies and cake, chocolate. So I think for me, those things, sweets is a big one for me. But I've been trying to
Anything
be
helps
healthy.
while reading also.
Yeah.
You need something, to drink, or to eat
Yeah.
something
Yes.
sweet while eating.
Yeah. So but I've been recently trying to watch my health and be a little bit more healthier. So what I enjoy and what I'm eating right now are two different things. So one day, inshallah, those will merge, and
I
that'll be
have
actually.
discovered a new way to make more sugar-free sweets.
Oh,
I
nice.
can still enjoy, or, or
Hmm.
play around the recipes and still eat them, and not be so guilty about it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think once you get older, like at least for me, I'm getting older now, so a lot of those unhealthy habits kind of catch up with you eventually, and your doctor starts saying things, and then you're like, okay, now I have to take it serious. So, but yeah, my sweets would be, and then for drink, I would say that with sugar, I like chai, but without sugar, I can have coffee. So I
Yeah,
think,
same with me, I think. Yeah,
and
with
I'm being
chai I
sugar
cannot
free,
have
so
without sugar.
yeah, I
I
know.
need
So
my ginger tea with I put one sugar-free tablet in it, and I'm happy.
oh, okay. No, so for me, I used to eat like, I think I used to put like chai, and when it gets simmered and gets a little bit more
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
almost like a
It
roasted.
has a special taste, it has to be simmered. Otherwise, it's not
Yes,
chai with the tea bag.
yes,
No.
yes, yes, yes. So we do that. So I used to like in India we used to get this called la salamsa. This powder has a little bit of vanilla flavoring to it or something, and added
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit to
It's
it.
called lamsa tea, right?
Yes, yes. I think Lhasa used to come with lamsa or something, and then Lhasa was chocolate and lamsa was vanilla, something to that effect. And then later on, one of them went and one of them stayed. And so I don't know the history behind it, but I remember there used to be Lhasa and lamsa and used to make it together. And then I think Lhasa left and lamsa stayed. And but I used to put a little bit of that in my chai, and then when I cook it,
Yeah, it
and then
opens up the flavor completely.
yes, exactly, yeah. So
I remember in the childhood, sometimes, yeah, my mother was doing it. But I haven't tasted that tea in many years now. But
oh.
yeah, you reminded me of it. I will now try to find it. Okay, so now our next question is, what was a turning point in your life, where you saw that, okay, I have to write, it has to come out. I mean, I am sure that if your inclination was towards poetry, you must be jotting it down somewhere. There must be a collection of your poems. But when you thought that it's time to be published.
Okay, so that's an easy one for me because yes, I've been writing since I was about 10 years old. So that was always just like, scribbled in journals and notebooks, and whether I'm writing a letter to a friend or to a parent or something, everything used to be a little bit more poetic when I was growing up. But I didn't actively start pursuing writing as a book or publishing or at putting my words out there in a more professional way until about 2.5 years ago. um, there was just I guess, when the timing is right for something, things fall into place because it's almost
Yeah.
like it was meant to be in that time. So after I had my last child, my sixth baby, there was a time I fell like very in dark, deep postpartum depression and anxiety. And so when I started recovering from that, I started being like, okay, I have to take life and life chances, and I have to start, doing things for myself because I think I felt such deep darkness in that moment that I felt like I needed to just be alive and live because so much of my life had passed with that. Because I've had multiple times of postpartum issues with many kids, and I've had, mashallah, six. So that's something I felt like I just was going in a place always that I felt like I was going to fall in a hole again all the time. So this time, after my last child, I wanted to live, basically, this desire to live. And so there was an opportunity for a Detroit mom who I am a contributing writer for, and they were looking for writers. And there was an open call, and I said, why not try? I've always wanted to be a writer. Let's just see how it goes. And that was the first step, I would say, because when I got called and asked to join the team, then that put me at like this confidence level, I guess, that, okay, I can write something and someone's going to read it and it's resonating and people are responding. And then that snowballed into me joining also another contributing website. And then from then, like, it's just a lot of pieces just fell into place. And then I found Sister Naima online, who I had heard about for many years. And, she's, mashallah, a famous author. So
Yeah.
there was books I've read and I've seen her. But this time I'm like, who's another niqabi woman writer? And immediately her name came to my mind.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever I think about Niqabi women, and I
Yeah,
think about
mashallah.
yeah.
So, and she's so at the forefront of it, right? And so I kind of followed her. And then she had this program about called the Be the Hero program that she was offering a free masterclass for. I joined that masterclass. I cried through the whole program because I felt like everything, like you were saying, like it just was resonating with me so deeply. And it just from there, I was in her program when I wrote this book, when I wrote my book, and then I joined her writing program, and so things like that have just snowballed into what it's like today for me to have the book published now, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, mashallah. I'm waiting for it also. But I'm really enjoying reading your book. I am taking my time, I'm reflecting, and I have downloaded your journal also. So I think I will start journaling also.
Inshallah. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're connecting to it, alhamdulillah.
And yeah, as we already discussed healing, but I have another question. What is writing for you?
Well, yes, at the forefront, I would say that writing is healing for me, but that's also because writing is my happy place. I feel not like words, but I feel like someone who is that it is not ink that flows from my pen, but I feel like it's like a thread that's weaving like a fabric of myself. So um, sometimes I am unrecognizable to myself in the mirror, but I recognize myself most by the thread of the pen that flows. And so I feel like I'm almost weaving a fabric of who I am every time my pen moves. So I feel like for me, writing is a happy place. It's my place that I find most to be myself, to be courageous in it. I find to be a little bit even surprised because I think sometimes I feel like I'm not as strong or as just a strong person. But I feel like when I write, I become that person who I am in on the inside, who maybe I don't believe in, but I believe when I write that word. So that for me is my happy place. I could
It's
go on forever.
empowering.
I mean, yes, it is. It
Writing
is
is
very.
empowering.
I become bold in it. I become powerful, strong in it. I'm no one else's anything, but it's just me, and I find it to be the most um, a very spiritual place to be, because I almost feel like, I always say, I feel like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding my pen to move, because the words don't come to me. It's Him who guides me. And so I feel like I pray to Him too. I say, yeah, Allah, just allow my pen to move in the way that you want it to move, so that I can write whatever you want me to write, and never be it that I am reckoned for the words that I write that are, that go against something that is causes His displeasure or causes Him to be unhappy with me.
This is wonderful point, I think. I can, it's so amazing what you said just now. I will
Jazakallah.
make a point of it that I will always pray, make a small prayer before I
Yes.
write.
Yeah. I
That we should
I truly
never
believe
be,
that.
caught for something that he didn't like, or we will be questioned
Mm,
writing something that might provoke something wrong in someone.
absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we have that belief that we are going to be reckoned for every action, word spoken or written. And that should also allow us to think that, that we have a purpose. The writing is not just so that I become a writer, but it's so that there's a purpose behind it, that even after I'm long gone, that the book, whenever it picks up, it becomes a source of success and blessing in the dunya and in the akhirah, forever, whoever writes it. So I think keeping that allows you to filter the talent that He has blessed us with. Because I honestly, sometimes I become overcome with emotion, because I think that this is a blessing. To be able to write is a blessing from Him, and He can give and take anytime He wants. And while I can write, I hope to write in a way that causes Him to be pleased with me, inshallah.
Thank you.
Yes,
And yeah, there is another. It's a request from me also. If you want to read a poem from your book for us.
okay, sure. Let me, I have some here, but I'm gonna, is there something in particular that you like that you would want me to read from? Because
I
sometimes
think
people,
my favorite is Breathe.
okay. The book is the book. I'm wondering which poem spoke to you the best for you, or which one do you think you felt resonated with, or you kind of connected with? I'm always a little bit curious to see, as a reader, which piece connected with you, or
I
you
think
felt.
as I'm reading, there are so many lines in every poem that I am really connecting with.
Mm-hmm,
But with the poem that you wrote, I think it's very empowering. It's so much. It really pushes me out of my laziness, or like when I'm feeling low, it just encourages me to just do what I'm really doing. Just keep going, keep
mm,
pushing yourself. It also reminds me from that quote from Martin Luther King, where he says just that, if you cannot fly, just run, and if you cannot run, walk, and if you cannot walk, crawl, but just keep moving.
keep moving, exactly. So what I'm going to read from you, read to you a book, a poem called Ill City. And the reason why I'm going to read that is because I think it captures what it was like to go through the quarantine in spring of last year, and have when it was hitting. So I don't know how, where it was like in Belgium, but what happened here is, because US is so wide,
But
the
we were
difference.
in holidays in during that pandemic. We went to
Okay.
India because at that time in March it was okay, and
Mm.
we got stuck in the lockdown in India, and
Oh,
we
okay.
couldn't travel back to Belgium for almost 4 months until June.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
And
So that's what I'm saying. Every city and every country was being hit like
yeah,
like
wave
one
by
by
wave.
one. It was like, yeah, in waves. And so this one I wrote because our city at that point had hit almost like it was one of the top US cities with a lot of death and a lot of cases that was hitting. And so this one resonated with me. I'm feeling like it kind of, it captures the moment of that pandemic. So it's called Ill City. My city has fallen ill. God, will you help us, please? The air is getting tight up here. We're finding it hard to breathe. The burning keeps us restless. We need you to cool us down. Shaking so uncontrollably, no escape from this ailing town. My city's reach returns empty, hard to grasp what we need. Time is ever fleeting, too many lungs to feed. We're using masks as shelters to shield us from the pain, washing hands continuously to wash away the stains. My city has been muted. Please hear its silent screams. They sound like blaring sirens, chasing peaceful dreams. God, we are at your mercy, fallen to our humbled knees. Head bowed down before you, rescue us from this siege. My city is awake tonight. We've lulled the kids to sleep, turning to you with hopeful hearts, fighting for a chance to breathe.
MashaAllah, it's beautiful, really. I mean, every line you can think, you can feel. Yeah, it's really. I will pray for you that may Allah bless your pen
Amin.
even more, give you more barakah, and you
Amin.
keep
Amin. Amin.
writing us,
Jazakallah.
wonderful poems and books. And
Jazakallah.
do you have a
Jazakallah.
special message for your readers?
I guess my biggest message would be that I would say for two things. One thing I would say is that when you read something and when you receive it, like how you said, sit with it, see how it can resonate and how it can be impactful to you as a reader. I would say, because there's two pieces of it. As a reader, see how it can impact you, and always try to drive as much benefit from what you read as possible, knowing that it's just, there must be a reason why that word or that text or that book is in front of you, because nothing happens by chance or coincidence. So if there's something there, maybe there's a lesson or a message in there that is waiting for you to be received from it. And as somebody who might be wanting to write, or who has that writing bug in them, or wants to, that just write as an authentic, sincere words from your heart, and you will surely find someone who will resonate with it. And if nothing else, if it heals you, then that's one person who maybe you were meant to heal in the first place. Then maybe it's not about somebody else reading it. Maybe it was just meant to be healing for you. And when you are authentic and sincere to yourself, then you will see that the magnitude or the effect of it will happen regardless of whether or not you control it or you make it happen. So I think that there's always a lesson to be learned and a lesson to be taught in all of our lives. And so either as a reader you're being taught it, or as a writer you are teaching it. But
But
in
we are
the end, it's
always in
always
that cycle.
yes. I have a piece that I've written too, and in it I say that we're either learning, or like life is always about is like an education. You're always either learning from something, or you can teach it to others. And even our Deen says the same thing, right? That you're not only you learn the message, and then you convey it to others. And I think that in that we are responsible for receiving and for giving in that way. Because if your arms are not open, you cannot receive love, right? If you keep it closed, you're not receiving anything. You can't give and you can't take. So I think that would be my
Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful message.
jazakallah. Thank you.
I think I will. I mean, I'm happy that I'm recording it, but I will just watch it so many times, just to get all the things that you said. Yeah,
Thank you.
remember them and practice them.
Thank
And
you.
also, let's talk about the book. The book is available on Amazon. I saw it's available on Kindle. It's available on Book Depository, and I
Yes.
think it's there in the stores in US.
Yes. So there is in Canada, there's a Islamic store that's carrying it right now. It's called the Day Palm.
Okay.
And they're carrying it right now. But because of the whole lockdown situation, there are stores that are not able to. They're keeping more things online than
Okay.
on the shelves,
Because
just
I
because.
will put up the links maybe in my YouTube channel so people can
Yes, I think
directly
Amazon
go.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
Amazon is
go
the
and
best
click
way.
and check. And also, for example, whenever I see a book and I want to know, I go to the Kindle and I take a sample and I read.
Yes,
It's
yes, yes,
really
yes.
great, and you get the gist and idea, and then I go and buy the book. So I think
That's
Kindle is doing really great in that way.
yes, yes. A
And
lot
I
of these.
got your, I have first the Kindle version of your book, which I'm reading currently. But I think I will, I mean, take the one because I saw from the interview from Iram.
Yes,
that
yes.
I saw the book. It's really, really beautiful and pretty. So I want to have the book as well.
Thank you, Jazakallah. Yes. So yeah, I self-published this book, and so there's a lot of thought and involvement, and a part of me did it because I wanted there to be a way that it came out, in the way that it was organized, and the way it was. I wanted to have a little bit more say in that, because once you go to a publisher, then they can't take care of what they want to do, right? So there's a lot more process in it, and if you ever do end up getting it, even then, I like to discuss those elements of it, because I think that it's just I think writers and people who are creative put so much thought into it. It's great to find out what they why they did certain things, why they wrote it and stuff. So yeah, I hope that I'm glad that you resonated with it and that it's connected with you.
No, I really want this book that everyone should come and read it, because it deserves. It deserves that place, and I want to make a word, for it, that
Mhm.
okay, it gets more and more into notice.
Yeah,
And let's
jazakallah.
see with this interview, inshallah, and
Inshallah.
also on the blog and everywhere, wherever we can. But I'm sure it will do great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Alhamdulillah.
And thank you for accepting my invitation. It's an
I'm
honor, really an honor for me to have you first as, on my interview list, because I talked to some other authors. So, but because of the dates and all, I think it was the first with you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I'm glad. There's, like I said, there's a reason for everything. So I feel
Yeah.
grateful that you invited me and that I was able to speak about it today. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much. It was really, really an honor to have you, to listen to you in person, and to read your book also. But I think now when I will read your book, I can hear you also saying it. Yeah,
Yes,
it
alhamdulillah.
happens to be. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. I wish you success with this. I hope that this is one of many, and
Inshallah.
that you get the success of dunya and akhirah with this message, and that this platform that you built. Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you so much.